So I've been thinking as we enter this new year, and I think that no matter our personality, whether you picked a word for the year already, you have 10 resolutions, or the new year, new hype is too much for you. No matter your personality, there's something about the unfolding of a year that has us reflecting. We look back at where we've been, where we want to go, and the journey to get there. And so with that in mind, I want to ask you a question. Are you headed into this new season just focused with what you see in plain sight? Or are you daring to enter this new year with a new, bigger vision? Let me tell you a quick story to help you understand why I'm asking. My husband and I were plagued with the flu, like many of our families this last fall. We had got it twice, in fact, and mine turned into bronchitis. It was a wonderful month. And so sometimes we would come home at the end of the day, put the kids to bed, and we would come down the stairs, and sometimes we were just grumpy. We were grumpy, we just snipped at each other, and we just counted down the minutes to going to bed. If you're married, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Other nights, we would put the kids to bed, we would come down in the kitchen, and we would just laugh. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. We were so sick, it was ridiculous, and all we could do is laugh, sometimes to the point of crying. And those were two very different reactions. And those two different reactions all boiled down to our perspective on how we chose to see. You see, there's a difference in seeing what's before you with perspective and without. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal." So in that vein, I want to give you 3 questions to check your perspective this New Year's. And I believe that when we shift from looking at temporary and we shift over here to the perspective of the unseen, the eternal, that's where we find the stuff that lasts, the stuff that gives us purpose and meaning in this world. First question, do you see your resolutions as gifts? I use the word resolution, sub out whatever works for you, dream, goal, hope. Do you see that thing you want to improve or fix? Do you see it as a gift before you figure out how to improve it? Let me give you an example. A lot of our resolutions are around our bodies. We want to drink more water, we want to work out more, lose some weight, all these different things. But what if before you made that resolutions to fix anything, you started with acknowledging our bodies are a gift? That God just didn't make us as spiritual souls that flitter around in the universe, that we were meant to exist within a body, to feel the breeze, to smell a cup of coffee. I love a good cup of coffee. That literally our bodies help us experience life, experience God himself. So what if before you made a resolution to fix it, you realized your body is a gift to inhabit, to exist within, to encounter life? And the same is true for whatever your resolution, whether it's around your marriage, your kids, your vocation, your side hustle. What if you first started by thanking God for that good gift? What would change if you started the new year reframing these resolutions as good gifts before you ever decided to change them? Second question, do you see your resolutions as spiritual? And now you could be thinking, Alison, my goal is to read more books or save money or use all my vacation time. What does that have to do with spiritual? Well, too often I think we separate a spiritual bucket out. I've even followed a New Year's resolution guide that had me do that, and that's not bad, right? Your marriage bucket, your vocation bucket, your education bucket, your kids bucket, right? All these different things you want to accomplish, and they make spiritual a bucket. But you see, God is not stuck in one place. He's not just stuck in the Bible whenever I read it or in the chair that I read it in. He's not stuck in church, which is really good news. Because if you are a believer, God exists within you and goes wherever you go. So you can experience God wherever you go. So maybe spiritual isn't a bucket or a category to make a goal in, but the umbrella with which all exists under. So my question to you is maybe not do you need to make yours more spiritual, but do you need to see what you're choosing to spend your time on as an opportunity to be spiritual, to encounter God? We try to add God in, and it doesn't fit because we're so busy. It's one more thing. What if you realized God isn't something to add in? He's already in. And your opportunity to experience him is your perspective and your choice. Third question, do you see your resolutions as gifts to steward? You see if these gifts are from God. That was our first question. If they are spiritual, that was our second question. Then why do they exist? Did God just give me all these things for my name, my success, to make money, to be comfortable, to look good? I think this can be the danger of New Year's resolutions, that we think they exist to make us better. But as Jesus follower, what we have doesn't exist to make us better. It exists to make him better, to make him bigger, to make him more beautiful in the world. These gifts that we have, they're not ours to own or to cling to tightly. They're ours to steward, to give back, to give away, to partner with God, to make it on earth as it is in heaven. So let me ask you, when you see your resolutions, do you see them as gifts to steward? A different way to ask it. When you look at, if you accomplish these gifts in a calendar year, what spiritual difference would they make in your home, your workplace, your community? You see, often we set our goals this time of year looking at earthly things, and we unknowingly settle for what we see in plain sight. But what we see in plain sight, it's fleeting, it's temporary, and it's a constant, insatiable desire for more and better and improvement, and it's exhausting. It doesn't lead to the fullness of life that you were created for, and you were created for the fullness of life. But it's found in your perspective to see the unseen, to open your eyes to see the supernatural love and mission all around you. And so that is my prayer for you, everyone in my hearing. I pray that you receive the good gifts your God has given you because you are ridiculously loved. I pray that you open your eyes to see the supernatural every single day you take breath. And I pray, have an overflow. You give it back to God, and you work with him to make it on earth as it is in heaven. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If this is your first time, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and also check out other resources that may help you in your spiritual journey to discover God.